Donald Trump is demanding a redo of the 2022 election in Arizona in what we are calling an Electron rant. An Electron rant. This is really up there as an iconic presidential moment of all time. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Donald Trump posting to his platform Truth Social.
Truth Central.
Quote, "So in Maricopa County, they are at it again. Voting machines in large numbers didn't work, but only in Republican districts." Remember, this isn't true. There were like a couple tabulators that had an issue. Everything was fine. People were forced to wait for hours, then got exhausted or had other things to do and left the voting lines by the thousands. Even Kari Lake was taken to a liberal Democrat district in order to vote. Others weren't so lucky. Now, remember, nobody was told to leave and go to other polling places. It was a Republican who was actually doing that. Okay, this is a scam and voter fraud, no different than stuffing the ballot boxes. They stole the capital E Electron from Blake Masters. Do election over again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We do things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. They stole the Electron. Do election over again. Really an iconic moment, inspiring and just electric in presidential statements of history. Forget the typo, okay, for a second, as funny as it is. It is shocking that a former president still doesn't know how the vote counting process works. How many times do we have to do this until Trump will understand, or any of them, quite frankly, why it is that votes are counted the way they're counted? And I think it's important to remind people again, in many of these states, the votes are counted the way they are counted because of Republican legislatures that have put in place the rules for how the vote count works. Add to that, by the way, that at this point, the most scrutinized state in terms of voting security is probably Arizona, maybe Pennsylvania to some degree because of what happened in 2020, but there is no state that is more scrutinized than Arizona. Within Arizona, I don't think there's any county more scrutinized than Maricopa County at this point in time because of what happened in 2020, thanks to Trump. In other words, because of all the claims Trump made in 2020 about Arizona, Arizona and Maricopa County are now insanely scrutinized, even though there's no particular need to do it. And now he's saying, oh, yeah, there was fraud again. It was fraud, just as fraudulent again. And it is unbelievable that people continue to fall for this. But sadly, this is now standard operating procedure. We didn't know back in 2020 whether it was rigged, it was stolen, would become a broader calling card or a more frequent refrain for Republicans. But it is very clear that that is now the case. If they lose, it was rigged. The world is laughing, and that's where we are at this point in time. Plastic is everywhere we look, and not enough is being done about it. 100 billion plastic bags are used and thrown away every year. But you can help make a change. Our sponsor, Hold On, makes trash and kitchen bags that are heavy-duty, plant-based, non-toxic, and 100% home compostable, which means they break down in weeks rather than decades. They don't fill up our landfills. They don't pollute our oceans. Their Zip Seal kitchen bags come in sandwich or gallon bag sizes to fit your needs. And the best part about Hold On bags is they work. I use them at home. They're just as good as all of the name brand bags. You fill them up, they stretch, and they don't break. Everybody uses trash bags and freezer bags. If you care about the planet, you can do something by using Hold On bags instead, and it's a really easy way to do your part. Go shop plant-based bags to replace single-use plastics all over your home. You'll save 20% when you go to holdonbags.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.